I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. It's a judge that's putting himself in the position of the President of the United States, who was elected by close to 80 million votes. And you have that. You're having more and more of that. It's a very dangerous thing for our country. And I would suspect that we're going to have to get a decision from the Supreme Court. But that's a very dangerous decision for our country. And these are people, in many cases, they don't show up for work. Nobody even knows if they exist. And a judge wants us to pay them even if they don't know they exist. If they exist. And I don't think that's going to be happening, but we'll have to see. I don't know.
Question on the timeline of the flights. You keep talking about the judge's written order, which hit the docket Saturday night at about 7:26 p.m. But he issued a verbal order before that at about 6:45 and 6:48 p.m. based on the court hearing. A verbal order from the bench. Does the White House feel the need to comply with a verbal order from this judge?
Again, as I said, all of the planes subject to the written order of this judge departed U.S. soil, U.S. territory before the judge's written order.
But what about the verbal order, which of course carries the same legal weight as a written order, and said for the planes to turn around if they were in the air?
There's actually questions about whether a verbal order carries the same weight as a legal order, as a written order, and our lawyers are determined to ask and answer those questions in court.
We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say.
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation. I mean,
a district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Like, does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do, in fact, have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Trinidad as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen,
how are you going to expel? Hold on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? That means you have no country. It means you have no sovereignty. It means you have no future.
Whoop. Gotta set it straight on fake news activist CNN. The radical left. These activist judges and people need to be impeached, investigated, walked out. Put your hands behind your back, muffin top.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, I gotta give me some of this drink real quick. Hold on, y'all gotta give me a sip of this sparkling water. Cause it's gonna get real. We got a huge update on this activist judge, this whole thing that's going on, man. It's a disgrace. They are trying to do everything they can to block President Trump from securing our country, from having common sense. The radical left, these activists. I gotta take a sip. Tell you, man, I don't know if we just do this in America, but it's like everything here is just stronger. Because when I went out the country, man, them drinks weren't that carbonated. I'm just saying. They weren't that carbonated, family. I'm just being real. But Good afternoon, good morning, good night. I know it's different time zones from people. Again, we have so many supporters across the world, across the globe, different countries, cities, states, everywhere. So I hope everybody's having an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing month, and that 2025 is off to a great start for y'all, man. But we got to get into this, you know, as you just seen this. Woo! And I mean, man, we went on CNN and committed murder live on TV once again. I don't even know why we even go on CNN. Steven, why do we go on? Just don't even waste your time, sir. You know, but we got a huge update, and I couldn't wait to get into this, man, with muffin top activist Obama appointed judge, man. I call him muffin top, you know. And then the reps, Andy Ogle says, I have filed articles of impeachment for 2 of the activist judges stonewalling President Trump, John Bates and Amir Ali, and both of who appointed by Democrats and sit on the U.S. District Court for Washington, D.C. It's time to hold them accountable. Y'all know what I advocate for, man. I want people to be held accountable, walked out, made an example out of, man. You know, and I've had enough with the left. I really have, man. And it really got me pumped up seeing Tom Homan on TV this morning, you know, calling out this judge and what's going on. I love hearing from we actually have a border czar. We actually have common sense, man. And they will do anything to block this common sense. I just don't understand, man. I really don't, you know. This is about the balance of power in America. If unelected judges and bureaucrats are calling the shots, the will of the people is being ignored. Once a judge can override a president order is the day we lose the country. District judge should be impeached. The judge is obviously not concerned about security of this country. He needs to be removed. I said this in the previous video. You know, need to be made an example out of, removed. Get him out of there. You know, get rid of the judge. I'm so sick of the left. Fire the judge. Isn't it great to have a president who talks to us several times a day? Yeah. This administration is a night and day difference, man. And you know what? 70-80% of people agree that we are going in the right direction. You know, even the fake news had to admit it with these new polls that came out as Democrats have hit an record low, an all-time low approval rating. 20%. It's even lower than that. The fake news won't put out the real numbers because, again, the real numbers are very, very embarrassing. You know, but they're in a ditch right now. You know, they don't have a leader. Too far left, still too woke. You know, I don't even think they're human beings. They don't care for the people, vote against the people, can't clap and stand up for the people. You know, but they'll stand and clap for war and people died in Ukraine. All right, Democrats. There you go. Keep shooting yourself in the foot and keep putting that ghetto lady out on TV. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And it's all about feelings. Feelings. They destroying Teslas and stuff right now. Y'all, please be aware and be safe, especially if you drive one of those Teslas. You know, I told my family member, because my family members got Teslas, man. I said, y'all be careful, man. These people are keying people's Teslas and bashing windows in. It's crazy what is going on with these activists, man. These liberals, Democrats have completely lost it. And it's very concerning. It's a mental illness. People need to go get checked up, man. I'm telling you. For real. But Muffin Top James, man. It is definitely not looking good. And I wanted to get into this video. Let's check it out, man.
So the Department of Justice has made a major announcement in response to that radical federal judge who tried to prevent President Trump from deporting TDA gang members. Now, before we actually read what the DOJ had to say, I want you to hear Tom Homan and his response to the media.
We removed terrorists from the country this weekend. I can't believe any media would question the president's ability to remove terrorists from this country.
But what do you say? What do you say to those who say you're? What do you say to those who claim you're using a 200-year-old law to circumvent due process?
An old law? Not as old as the Constitution. We still pay attention to that, don't we?
And watch him walk off. I love what he walked off. Just embarrassed the fake news. Why would you even say that? An old law? Y'all know we use it. We used this clip in our previous video this morning with Tom Homan, man. And I'm glad he gave them this treatment. I am so glad he gave them this treatment, man. It's a disgrace, man.
How many more terrorists do you plan on deporting to El Salvador?
And again, whoever that was asking that question, they need to put them on the plane and send them into El Salvador too. Take them, send that judge to El Salvador. Yeah, put these judges, these activist judges, put Muffin Top James on the plane. As a matter of fact, let some of them gang members rough him up a little bit. Take the handcuffs off a couple of them, and let them get roughed up. They say, Rick, sir, please don't say that, sir. Rick, you didn't have to say that. I know I didn't have to say that. I apologize, family. We don't wish anything bad to anybody. You know. I'm so sorry, family. Yeah, I did not mean to say that. Put that judge on the plane. Put him on the plane. Send him to El Salvador, please.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of common sense. The U.S. Constitution is the oldest living legal document in our history as a country. And so when a leftist comes out and tries to make their argument all about how old the Alien Enemies Act is and why President Trump shouldn't be able to use it, remind them everything's based on the U.S. Constitution. Now,
Yeah,
Tom,
but that's the thing with the fake news and the left. They don't have any comments, and so you get comments like that we are not surprised. I mean, just dumb.
Homan wasn't the only person to stick it to the media. Here's Stephen Miller doing the same thing to CNN.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
Now let's understand something. This is a post that was put up by Daniel Baldwin on X. It's a screenshot of the response from Pam Bondi to the judge. Bondi highlights immediately, quote, the court lacks the jurisdiction to interfere with Trump's national security and foreign affairs authority. They also say that Trump's role as commander-in-chief is not subject to judicial review or intervention. And so the argument that the White House is making is that the action that President Trump took over the weekend, first, protected because it was due to national security reasons. Secondly, it was a bilateral agreement with El Salvador, the United States of America, for those same national security reasons. And so their pushback continues to be, what district court judge possesses the authority to override that? He is the commander-in-chief at the end of the day. And here is Stephen Miller saying just that.
The lives of Jocelyn Ungery or Laken Riley or anyone
the federal
else.
courts. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak
I will
You're here to speak for the White House. I just want you to answer that
it.
one simple question.
I don't know why we waste time on CNN still. I don't know why we waste time on CNN.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Under a proper reading of the Constitution, district court judges provide relief to individual plaintiffs seeking relief. District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch. But their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
yes or no?
I am not going to get into the
just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that
Stephen.
I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other
Because
troops
the
overseas.
president.
I need to ask you about
It's
something
not.
else.
The
that's
president
important.
issued a proclamation.
Shut CNN down.
Delineating in detail.
When can we shut CNN down? Can we just shut CNN down, please?
The Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media, none of that outrage was expressed when little Jocelyn Nungare was tortured and beaten to death. None of that outrage was expressed when our nation was...
Thank you, Steve. We just keep, again, man, let's really talk about it. Let's go there. You know, let's go there, man. Again, y'all know we talk about these exact same things on the channel in thousands of videos we've done, man. You know, but you see her body language. You see when we start getting real, you know, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear common sense. They don't care about the families and people's lives that have been devastated. Beautiful souls that should still be here with us. They don't care. CNN does not care. The left don't care. These activists don't give a...
was flooded by illegal aliens.
Now, this quote on the screen sums up the problem really from the left. This includes the media, of course. If the Democrats want to argue in favor of turning a plane full of rapists, murderers, and gangsters back to the United States, that's a fight we are more than happy to take. I said that earlier in my video yesterday. This is from the White House press secretary. Why are they trying to fight President Trump on this? This is a losing issue. Now, in this next clip, this is the White House press secretary being questioned by Caitlin Collins on why didn't the Trump administration listen to the judge when he verbally said that the plane needed to turn around.
You keep talking about the judge's written order, which hit the docket Saturday night at about 7:26 p.m., but he issued a verbal order before that at about 6:45.
And some of these clips y'all have already seen. I played them in the beginning.
6:48 p.m. based on the court hearing. A verbal order from the bench. Does the White House feel the need to comply with a verbal order from this judge?
Again, as I said, all of the planes subject to the written order of this judge departed U.S. soil, U.S. territory before the judge's written order.
But what about the verbal order, which of course carries the same legal weight as a written order, and said for the planes to turn around if they were in the air?
There's actually questions about whether a verbal order carries the same weight as a legal order, as a written order, and our lawyers are determined to ask and answer those questions in court. Sean.
And that's why I want to show you guys exactly what the black was at. Unload the
hour. Is a constitutional crisis now officially upon us? From the invocation of an 18th century law that was the basis for some of the darkest chapters in America's history, things like the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, now being used to deport hundreds of people, to the sudden removal of an immigrant doctor here legally, both moves seemingly from what we know at this hour, at the time in open defiance of court orders.
So speaking of court orders, Julie Kelly on X, she's actually at the hearing right now between the judge and the Department of Justice. And the only thing I really want to read to you guys that I find to be crazy. Now, I just want to share with you this post that she put up. The judge is now agitated that his verbal direction to return planes during the hearing is not considered controlling, meaning it's not actually needed to be adhered to until the official document was posted, which didn't happen until 7:30 p.m. The judge is now saying the Department of Justice should not have allowed any planes to take off on Saturday because the DOJ knew the judge was holding a hearing at 5 p.m. And the judge's first-minute order related only to the 5 illegal plaintiffs. The judge is saying that the Trump admin should not have executed the president's order because he was going to hold a hearing and may have stopped the government from deporting under Alien Enemies Act. This is bat crazy. Would love to see the judge's comms with the ACLU before a lawsuit was filed Saturday morning. Let's just think about that for a second. The judge wanted the Department of Justice to not follow the orders from the commander-in-chief because of a hearing that would take place later in the day that maybe or maybe not prevent the government from deporting these illegal aliens. Can someone please in the comments section make that make sense?
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
System that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
So I think it's very clear where the White House stands and how President Trump sees this entire issue. But what about the opposite side? They are arguing that these TDA gang members did not get their due process. And again, that's why Democrats will lose, because majority of Americans will not relate to that point. Hear it for yourself.
But look, without due process, without them going before an immigration judge, without the White House telling us what crimes these people may have committed or whether or not they're tattooed.
And not, again, this fake news, the left-wing media, the NBCs, the ABCs, the NBCSs, the MSNBCs, same crap. This is why.
News merely linked them to this gang. It's really hard to know. I'll even point out during the Biden administration, they had a list of over 600 people they said may have connection to Tren de Aragua, but they said some of these people may have simply been victims who had to pay this gang or get a tattoo in order to survive. It was really difficult to see who exactly in that group would have been a high-level crime member. And that's exactly why the plaintiff's attorneys filed that lawsuit on Saturday to stop the deportations before these people could get due process.
This is so frustrating, okay?
Put that lady on the plane, too. Send her to El Salvador.
Because Americans do not care whether or not they are actual TDA gang members, okay?
Get them gone. And put that lady that was just talking on the plane, too. She can go with them.
In the country illegally. Screw due process. Get them out of here.
Get them gone.
That's exactly what the mindset is for most of Americans. And for the record, the White House press secretary came out today and clarified exactly who they are and what crimes they have committed.
I would remind everybody in this room that Tren de Aragua is a
talk about transparency.
Foreign terrorist organization operating within the United States of America because the previous administration allowed them to invade our country. These are monsters who tortured, raped, and murdered a 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungre. They murdered 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley. They led a multi-state sex trafficking operation involving smuggling women into the United States, holding them in stash houses in Louisiana, Florida, New Jersey, Texas, and Virginia, and forcing them into prostitution. They kidnapped and murdered a 33-year-old woman in Texas. They sexually and physically assaulted a woman and her daughter in Wisconsin. They conducted a mass shooting in Illinois. They peddled untraceable ghost guns across New York City, took over an Aurora, Colorado apartment complex where they kidnapped and tortured victims. And by the way, many of you in the mainstream media said that didn't happen. It turned out that it did. And because of the effective immigration policies of this administration, those foreign terrorists were detained and they are no longer operating on American soil. And we have President Trump to thank for that.
Yeah, so when she reads off the list of these crimes that have been committed by these TDA gang members, once again, America does not care or have any sympathy for these individuals. They want them out. And Democrats are spending too much time trying to defend that. And let me ask you a question. Who do you respect more? The individual that was just crying about due process, or Tom Homan, who said this on Fox News earlier today?
You're going to run out of money. It doesn't look like you're getting support from the Democrats on this. You're going against the judges now. What's next?
I love this. I love what he said.
Another flight. Another flight every day. The teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
Now,
man, Man, I tell y'all, family. I tell y'all, man. Don't you feel it, don't you? I know you feel it, you know. That this is the actual border czar. Remember that last border czar we had? We didn't even know who the border czar was. And then when we did find out who was the border czar, she was laughing, cracking open coconuts. Laughing. Cackling. Cracking open coconuts. As soon as they fell off the tree. Giving out word salads. Drunk. Don't know what's going on. And her buddy went on vacation and fell asleep and then woke up and fell down the stairs. It's a night and day difference, family. Night and day difference. I love y'all. Comment down below, man. I need to see some beautiful comments tonight in the morning. And again, good morning, good afternoon, good night. I love you guys. I love y'all, family, for real, man. And I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. And we're going to keep bringing amazing updates, breaking the news, having fun, spreading love, and keeping it real, man. But we are rocking and rolling, man. And F around and find out. We're not F around with this second time, man. This go round. We are not effing around, and I'm here for it. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, family.